only thing we have to
Beer.
is
Beer.
itself.
Beer. So many choices.
Only no function beer well without.
Woohoo! Beer! Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Busters, where we're going to bring you, of course, the news and reviews of some wonderful brews. My name is Dan Baker, joined, as always, by my co-host and brewologist,
Steph Hefner.
and the demented and fermented
Wayne Baker.
Now, today we are somewhere. It's taken us a very long time to get here, and I'm glad we finally are here.
In more ways than one.
In more ways than one. It took us a long time to
Turnpike.
get here. That damn turnpike and that damn 95. But we have a connection here. And at the 100th episode, we were given a taste of things to come. We have with us Mr.
Paul Lahm.
And a new friend.
Righteous Jolly.
And these gentlemen are kind enough to invite us out here to Broken Goblet Brewing, which is here in Bristol, Pennsylvania. Guys, thanks for having us out here.
Oh, yeah, man. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for joining us.
This is officially Bristol, right? I didn't just butcher
The
that.
address is, yes.
Okay.
But you're in no man's land, basically.
Well, yeah. My rule of thumb is anything above Northeast Philly is no man's land.
Yeah.
But I'm very happy to be here. I've heard a lot of great things about Broken Goblet. I don't think I've ever had any of the beers from here. So this is the day that ends, my friends.
That is a fact. And
fact-
this is the day that our second century begins.
I know. Well, do we want to call it a century? Because it wasn't 100 years.
It was 100
But I did.
episodes.
I did
like
say at the.
It felt like 100 years.
It
That's so
did.
true.
Yeah.
The 100th episode felt like 100 years.
Yeah.
Oh, we survived, by the way.
we
we
did,
did.
believe it or not.
I
Sort of.
apologize if I was a little drunk.
I
Everybody
slept
out
more.
there listening to the
I
100th
slept
episode.
more the last week since that episode than I think I've slept my entire life, to be perfectly honest.
Well, you are a little sick. So that
Yeah,
probably
well,
played into it.
it was like 100th episode over. Now you're sick.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
So this is 101?
This is 101. This is
101.
Beer Busters 101 right here.
That's right.
Yeah.
Back to basics.
Back to basics.
Back to
Oh,
beer
yeah.
six.
Oh dear.
Oh man,
That is an
that
episode.
was an episode title
Look it
back
up.
in the day when I did when I tried the puns. But we can't, of course, forget to thank Audible for their continuing support. Audibletrial.com/beerbusters. You can sign up for your free 30-day trial of an Audible account. Free is my second favorite F word. You get to download, listen to, and keep an audiobook of your choosing. If you keep the membership, you get to keep your books. They always and forever will live in your cloud, and you cannot get rid of that shit. Audibletrial.com/beerbusters.
And if there's too many digits in your bank account and you want to sort of lighten that load a little bit, you can go to patreon.com/beerbusters and sign up to be a Beer Busters patron. You can donate a couple of bucks to us each time we release a podcast episode, or as little as $1 a month. And in exchange, you will get, on top of our unending gratitude, behind-the-scenes perks. You get to hear outtakes from the podcast. You get to hear all the breaking news before anyone else on the internet. So if you want to support the show and be part of the Cool Kids Club, go to patreon.com/beerbusters.
I recently started, as soon as I get the confirmation from a brewery that we're recording there, I'm posting them on Patreon now.
Oh, cool.
So, like, I
Immediately.
just booked one yesterday, and our patrons know. Nobody else knows yet.
Right. And one of those
Well, you
perks-
guys know, I hope.
yeah, we know.
Well, we know, usually.
I may have told the patrons before I emailed you.
I was going to
That
say,
is
sometimes they'll
very
probably find
possible.
out before
I
me.
may have.
They're probably
possible.
going to remember it more than I will.
Probably.
And to get a little specific, with what Steph said, one of the perks of being a patron at a certain level, you can actually submit a question for us to ask an upcoming guest. You can submit a fake beer name that I will use on Happy Fun Time Games. You can submit, I think we offered a couple other things, but any cool ideas you might have for the podcast are pretty much open to.
Yeah,
so
of course.
That's
Yeah.
one of the many, many Patreon perks.
One of my questions that I would have submitted had I been a patron of that level would be, Righteous, what inspired that kick-ass mustache?
Oh, this is nothing, man.
Really?
Yeah,
You ain't
this,
seen nothing.
I had a handlebar mustache, a loopy loop for years, and then everyone, it seems like there's more of those now, so why not try the Fu Manchu? It's working out okay.
I like
guess.
it.
Thank you.
I like it. I wish I could do that. My mustache barely connects like with the rest of my goatee, so I could never ever do
yeah,
that.
but you don't have his hair. Like, it's a full package here.
I know.
It's
that's
not
true.
just
Yeah.
the mustache.
That's
I have my vulnerabilities. there's a spot right here. It's not quite right, and I can relate to that actually too.
Yeah.
But if it fills in,
If it fills in, it kind of makes
nothing
up
a
for
little
us.
brown
Yeah.
eyeliner can't hide, my man.
Wow.
That's true. There
A
you
friend of
go.
mine also gave me some
Beauty
beard oil that
secrets.
I could probably manage some fun stuff with. So that'll be
Fun
interesting.
stuff.
Fun
Coming
things
soon.
to do with beard oil.
Yes, coming soon
Sounds
to a
like
Beer
we
Busters
need
near you.
Vargin back on
This
the
has
show.
been beer
That's true.
hacks.
That's true. Well, we do have a sipping beer in front of us. I, of course, want to
yeah.
mention that.
Paul gave us beer.
There were a lot of
Yes.
words involved in the name, and I remembered treasure. But what is this beer?
This is Steinbeiser's Buried Treasure Cream Ale.
Okay. Steinbeiser's Buried Treasure.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the story behind that epic name?
Steinbeiser is a relative of some of the owners.
Okay.
They live outside of Lambertville, New Jersey.
And he helped them out a lot when they were setting this place up.
And I think that was basically an homage to the money. Thanks so much, Uncle Moneybags. Let's name a beer after you.
So long, and thanks for all the money.
Yeah.
Does that mean Wicked Weed has a beer called Proactive? They should.
Are they sponsored by Proactive?
The beauty?
No, the family member that provided the money is one
Oh.
I did not know that.
You know,
of the... The more you know.
The more
Ding.
you know.
Proactive, like proactive.
like the ag
Yeah.
medicine, which
Jessica Simpson Proactive?
the name is misleading because it's a reactive medicine because you use it after you had the breakout.
So
No,
rude.
that's not true.
No, you use it after you had the breakout, but then it continues to proactively.
Right.
Well, then-
but you use it like the commercials.
Proactive,
like
reactive.
Think of the commercials. Oh my God, I broke out in acne,
Tough
and then
actin to actin. That's
Right.
something different, isn't it?
it's totally different.
Use
But
that on your face.
It's I broke
You don't
out
put
in
that on your
acne,
face.
and I
No,
couldn't
you
go
could.
on.
Why not?
I couldn't go on stage because I had all these zits, and then I used Proactive. It's like, well, you used it reactively, and are
Right.
you still using it to proactively treat?
So this beer, given that it's named after one of the angel investors, if you will, for Broken Goblet, is this an original Broken Goblet brew? Has this been something you've made from the beginning?
Yeah. Yeah. It
It was
is.
definitely started in the first year they were open. It was one of
Yeah.
the originals, yeah.
Yeah, it is a flagship beer, as it were.
It's one of the few that are always on.
Yeah, it's our lightest. It's our, the ABV. It's always the lowest ABV here, and for folks that don't have ambitious craft palates, this is theirs.
Sort of an ease-in beer.
Yeah.
I mean, we chose it as the lowest ABV, nice, closest to sessionable beer we could get to sessionable to start off the show. But it's really nice. It's very easy drinking and very refreshing,
And it's clean.
and it's very clean. Mm-hmm. And it's a little bit sweet.
Yeah.
Just a
It's
little
got
bit
bit.
sweet.
It's
yeah.
got a nice
As a cream ale
crispness
should be.
then
Yeah,
too.
yeah, it's very
which I really like
Oh,
out of it.
I thought you said Christmas.
Christmas.
No,
It tastes like Christmas.
No, I'm sure.
My ears are still clogged.
I'm
Sorry.
sure
I
as-
might need to turn my headphones up
As Wayne and
tonight.
I found out before we started recording, there's a big Halloween versus Christmas standoff
Oh,
that
yeah,
goes
there's
on
a
here.
whole- there's a
So I'm
whole
sure
rivalry.
we'll definitely touch on that. But before we get into that, I want to do a little bit of news. It is that time of year again, and
It's the most wonderful
stop.
time to drink beer.
hey,
Nice
very
save.
topical. Yeah. So this episode will be released in the beginning of November at this point. So I wanted to find something that would still be relatively topical to then, but it winds up being topical for every year because this is the time of year Goose Island throws out the Bourbon County variations that they're going to put out. Releases them.
It's that time
Black
again.
Friday.
Yes, it is Black Friday, but it mentions a little bit of last year. So if anybody missed it, you'll find out in the article. But there was some big to-do about it last year. So it starts off, when Goose Island releases its celebrated Bourbon County beers, Bourbon County Stout, Bourbon County Coffee Stout, Bourbon County Barley Wine, and Proprietor's Bourbon County Stout on the day after Thanksgiving, the dark, boozy brews this year will have one extra ingredient, pasteurization. For the first time in its 28-year history, Goose Island will pasteurize beer. The decision was made after 4 of 6 Bourbon County beers in 2015 developed off flavors because of unwanted bacteria. The brewery is going to use a process called flash pasteurization, which typically involves heating the beer to about 160 degrees for at least 30 seconds, then cooling it rapidly. Large craft breweries, including Deschutes, New Belgium, Anchor, and New Glarus, flash pasteurize.
Flash Pasture. They couldn't have come up with a better name.
I know.
That's tough to say.
But all those breweries flash pasteurize at least some of their beer. Larger breweries typically use something called tunnel pasteurization, which exposes the beer to high temperatures for more time. So recently, the Goose Island brewmaster Jared Jankowski said he is well versed with flash pasteurization from his time working at New Glarus, and the process will not affect the flavor of Bourbon County beers. And due to last year's infection issues, pasteurization was a, quote, clear decision, he said. There are no plans to pasteurize other Goose Island beers. So, Wayne, your women are safe.
My women are safe.
Yes.
That's right. I'm coming home. Don't wash.
They also implemented new standards for quality control that Jankowski describes as more sensitive and specialized media and advanced detection and more sampling points.
So what I'm wondering is if there was this infection issue with Bourbon County last year, do you think that those bottles will become like sort of like a rare collectible?
They offered refunds for a lot of them.
Yeah, nobody wanted to keep that shit.
Well, I'm not saying
especially for how much money you spend on it.
But you
I
could
see
say
the point.
I have like the off batch.
Nobody wants
bourbon.
that shit.
I don't know. That's why I asked the
No.
question.
No.
I see the
sorry.
point.
No.
I see the point.
It's like misprinted currency.
It's so
Right.
expensive.
I have a misprinted movie title art at home that spells Russell Crowe's name wrong from some movie he was in when I
That's
worked at the movie
different.
theater. But like it's almost along the same lines.
I think
because
it's more
It's
like
not
having
on
the
the same
recalled
lines at all.
Toyota. Like
Well,
you really don't want that.
No,
that's
okay.
true.
That's a very good analogy.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
fair.
If it goes
Okay.
wrong, that bottle's blowing up in your face.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, nobody wants to die by a beer bottle.
I've been corrected.
I just realized something.
What's
This
that?
is Wayne's 100th episode.
yeah,
that's
because
true.
I wasn't on episode 1.
That's true. It is technically also your 100th episode because you were
That's
not
true,
Green and
'cause I
first.
missed an
It is
episode.
my 101st. Suck
That's
it.
true.
Wow.
Clout.
Happy 100th episode.
Happy
Wayne.
100th
Yeah,
episode,
happy
guys.
100th episode,
Yeah.
Steph.
So a little bit more about the Bourbon County beers. The 4 variations that we already mentioned. There is the Proprietor's Bourbon County Stout, which is made with chipotle peppers and
What?
cacao.
Wait, what?
I'm surprised you didn't know that already.
No, I can't tell you the last time I spent my money on Bourbon County beers. I just don't like them. I don't know. They're not my thing. It's not my style of beer.
You gave me one that I accidentally aged for like an extra 2 years.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah,
It's always nice when you accidentally age beers. You forget you
I have a bottle of Brown Beard intentionally aging right now.
Yeah, I know you
I'm
love brown.
surprised
It is a fight
that
to not
you
drink
have
that.
been.
But we have thank you to everybody who gave us beer at the 100th episode, and I actually went and bought a 6-pack of, let's just say, a beer I'm known for liking.
Purple Monkey Dishwasher.
Of course, I did.
You were
is that
just so mad
that's
that
what's in the
somebody
fridge.
got it
You know,
as a raffle
I
prize.
should
and you didn't get
have
it.
when we had Trevor on.
It's going to make it a
'Cause
5-pack.
it's so hard to
Yeah,
get
when
it
we had
yourself.
Trevor on, I should have said thanks for bringing that 5-pack of Purple Monkey Dishwasher.
yeah.
But yeah, so Proprietor's Bourbon County Stout is made with chipotle peppers and cacao nibs and aged in bourbon barrels that previously held maple syrup. Bourbon County Coffee Stout is made with Costa Rican beans called Flecha Roja, which is a roast that blends flavors of fruit and cherry, chocolate and nuttiness, and a sublime
I'm going to
aroma.
go ahead and bet that you pronounced that incorrectly.
Probably, and I don't care.
Flecha Roja?
Flecha Roja. Flecha Roja.
That's better.
Bourbon
Is it
County's
Klingon?
barley
Is it
wine,
Klingon?
probably will be aged in quote second use barrels that had previously held bourbon, and before that it was aged in third use barrels that held both bourbon and Bourbon County Stout. The change is expected to produce a bolder, boozier flavor, and of course there is the staple of Bourbon County Stout, which the original member of the Bourbon County family, of course, first produced in the 1990s at Goose Island's Brew Pub on Claiborne Avenue in Chicago, Illinois.
I think it's neat that every year they come up with some sort of the proprietors, a different one to go seek out. I think that's
Right.
really cool.
Well, that's the one they release only in Chicago. So, I mean, maybe it's not that one. They release one specifically in Chicago every year. This article actually did not mention that, which is weird because it's from the Chicago Tribune. So you figured they'd be like, yeah, we have this. So also I wanted to give them credit so I don't get sued for plagiarism.
Do you think the pasteurization's weird or no? I mean, what would you
well,
say?
I mean, it was a major fuck up last year.
Yeah.
All those beers
Yeah.
that got
So,
infected,
yeah,
they
they lost a
definitely
lot of
had
money.
to step up and do something.
Right.
For
But do
sure.
you think I guess if flash pasteurizing is such a widely used practice, it makes sense. But do you think maybe it's like a bit of an overreaction? Like just
I don't think so.
No, I think it's the right move because at least they're addressing the problem
Yeah.
and they're adding more taste points to make sure that it's true to what they already give out. They already release.
No one will not drink it because of that. I
Right.
mean, I
That's-
imagine.
Yeah, I would think.
Well,
so,
it's-
yeah.
I
To
hate
me,
beer
it's-
with pasteurization.
Well, I mean,
don't know.
if you go
I
out
hate
and-
buying beer that's infected.
Yes,
so
more so.
that's-
to me,
a
if
trade-off.
I
Yes.
buy if I pay like 30, 40 or whatever you got to pay to get one of these bottles of
Wow.
beer and it's infected, even if they refund my money, I'm sorry, I'm not buying it again. There are too many other options out there for me to spend my money on.
Yeah,
right.
and
I won't do it.
At that point, it would be the name and the tradition behind it. That's the only
think
selling point.
I'm going to start collecting infected beers.
Oh, come
Oh
on.
my God, you're an
Niche.
idiot.
That's a good niche.
I hope they all blow up on you.
You and OJ.
No, don't wish that on him because he lives with me.
Well, then tell them not to do it.
I'll
Wait.
put them in the basement.
All right,
yeah.
good. Put them in the basement away from my stuff that's
All
down there
right.
too, which is like the whole damn basement.
But yeah, there's a lot of shit in the basement.
Well, not all infections blow stuff up, but
True.
but the fun ones.
but the fun ones do.
A little while ago, and the last piece of news I have, I had mentioned that in the world of why the hell is this happening, Not Your Father's was going to have
Oh,
a
boy.
companion lineup.
There's no mom's pie, right?
Well, they
Oh,
mentioned that in
geez.
this.
Here we go.
So they small town brewery, of course, they have Not Your Father's root beer, and then vanilla cream and ginger ale. Then they announced Not Your
Aunt's sexual innuendo.
No, Not Your Mom's apple pie, Not Your Mom's strawberry rhubarb, and now according to Beer Street Journal, not your mom's iced tea. Brewed with tea from India and lemon
We
juice.
need to have that on the show and have Rich sit down with us.
Yeah,
Actually, that's a really good idea.
We can't not have that.
But
he is the
Because
iced
Rich
tea
loves iced
connoisseur.
tea so much.
I like that this kind of ties in. Little teaser, Steph, your Know Your Beers today is brewing with tea.
Yeah.
And you guys have the
Foreshadowing.
Teabag series here,
Yeah, that's
which
what
is, there
I'm
we go. It's
actually
what you're drinking in
drinking,
your
yeah.
fancy
Not
mustache
your
mug.
father's tea bag.
Yes. They describe this as this is the perfect refreshing brew crafted with the finest tea leaves from India and real lemon juice. It will remind you of mom's homemade brew or home brewed tea recipe. We know you'll enjoy it because we do. It'll clock in about 5% ABV, be available in 12-ounce bottles, much like everything else that Small
But
Town
there's
Brewery
already
offers.
like twisted tea.
There's
I mean,
a lot of
people-
hard teas out
People
there,
are
yeah.
already making alcoholic teas.
Yeah, they want to jump on it, and I get what they're doing with like, hey, sticking with a not your insert parental unit, but
How about not your cousin's homebrew?
Hey.
But
I like that.
you had to taste that, Paul.
Oh,
That's
you
right.
did drink it.
Poor Paul.
Yep. I've got an off-air story for that then.
Okay.
Oh, an off-air
FYI.
story. This is
FYI.
exciting.
That'll be in the newsletter, I'm sure.
No.
There's things that
It's
don't even make
off-air,
it into the
off-air.
outtakes.
Yeah. But we are, of course, here at Broken Goblet, and I could not be happier to be here. And I'm so far, I mean, what we're having here, I'm very excited about the teabagging ones. I saw you guys have, I read.
I'm very excited about
Shush.
this.
Shush.
Oh, my
Teabag
God.
series of beers.
I'm so
God
numb
damn
to
it.
those jokes.
I'm sure you are.
Yeah.
We're not yet.
No,
I'm
I
sorry.
know, I know.
apologize.
Children.
I know.
Children.
Very juvenile.
And if I saw right, you guys have a Hobbit series too?
yeah.
What's up with those?
It's an annual bottle release series we do each year, right around Christmas time. We have I believe they get released on Black Friday each year.
Yeah, that's right.
A different character from the Hobbit series of books and movies, or however you consume your media, gets a dedicated beer
your
dedicated
media.
to them.
Okay.
Oh, really? So what are some past examples?
This is
I'm
the
really
third
excited.
one coming.
Oh.
Actually,
Oh,
Oh.
we have
oddly
labels
enough,
here?
thank God this was laying right here because I
That's
wouldn't
cool.
have remembered.
Bomber. Nice.
Bomber.
So this
All
is
right.
coming up, and this is a barley wine.
Bomber barley
That
wine.
would make sense.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's really big.
That's awesome.
Big beer.
That's pretty cool.
I believe the first year was
13%.
Thorn, and that was a
I saw that label.
Imperial IPA.
Yeah, I saw that on the website.
Yeah, Thorin, and then
How was
Nori
it? Nori was last
last
year.
Okay.
year.
That was a Belgian ale or a Belgian strong ale with
Lavender.
Lavender. That's right.
So-
I was gonna say
so
basil.
you're
Bear,
going
bear
through-
hugged by lavender.
all
Yes.
the dwarves. Is that you're starting with dwarves because those are all dwarves from the Hobbit.
Well, here, if you look at this, actually, you might have a better reference. You'll see. There's only 3 out of the whole 16. I think we're doing.
Oh, that's
I never
cool.
read
I
the
see,
books.
I
I'm
see.
sorry
Okay.
to say.
Okay,
They
okay.
color them as
yeah.
they
Mhm.
dunk
that's cool.
them.
I'm a bit of a Tolkien nerd. so
Yeah,
I-
you fit in well here. I don't know why they hired me. Actually,
So
Are you not a Tolkien
I
nerd?
like him quite a bit. He has great music, but he's a writer.
yeah, he's all right. He wrote songs, but not music. So
I'm a fool of a took.
You're a fool of a took.
Took.
Yeah, close enough.
Close
Big fan.
So
I don't know
is-
what's happening right now.
Just go with it.
This is a really awesome label, and I like how you have the silhouettes of all the characters, and then you've sort of, marked off which ones you've already had. So is this like is it officially licensed tie-in, or is there any kind of like? Can you just like say we're gonna? Is there any legal thing?
Well, I'm
Using
sure
these
I know
characters?
nothing of that.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I'm sure everything's on the up and up.
Should we cut that part out of the podcast?
I don't know. We'll see. We get letters all the time. Still, it's amazing how many breweries own words or titles that they haven't
Yeah.
trademarked.
Yeah,
So-
it's kind of sad too because they're just normal words most of the time.
Well, and the thing is, there's so many breweries and so many beers.
Yeah.
that you run out of
Yeah.
things to call things.
right.
You know?
It's like a wild frontier.
Yeah, which is why I think I like to see breweries that go with either like really crazy funny names, although that does get old sometimes, or just like my brewery's porter, and that's all it's called.
Yeah,
there's
it's
no
nice
like
and
name to
simplistic,
it. It's just
yeah.
this.
Well, I don't know if you know or you were going to mention it or if it's in your notes, but Broken Goblet started as Brutal Beer. Do you know this?
I did not know that. No.
I was
So-
actually going to ask about the name.
All right, so Brutal Beer was the beer club that the owners started, the dudes started. It started becoming a reality that this was going to open. They went through all of the legalities and the taxing, and they started ordering all the merch and the things that you need for a business. And you see the umlaut
Yes.
all around the building. and a cease and desist letter came from a rather large brewery.
Really?
And the day it came, in a rather serendipitous, dramatic fashion, one of the goblets broke, shattered. So they documented it with a picture. They were discouraged, the gents, and then, like a phoenix rising out of a broken barley wine.
Nice.
Here we are. Broken Goblet.
That's pretty cool. Because Broken Goblet's a really cool name, and it's even cooler that there's actually like a story behind it.
And the
it's not
logo
just,
is pretty kick-ass.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Like, it'll be iconic.
Yeah.
It definitely is unique and stands out.
And I was going to ask why it was an E with an umlaut, but
Right.
it all ties in there.
There
It
it
makes
is.
sense. Awesome.
So I just have to mention,
Okay.
I have in my notes here zombie turkey paintball. No context, no clarification. And you can leave it at that if you'd like, and we can not talk about it, but I'm kind of interested to know what zombie turkey paintball means.
It's a way that we give back to the community.
All right, let's leave it at that.
Yeah. So we dress up. You can dress up in whatever you want, and we give our patrons. I'm pretty sure they buy, because of the paintballs. They have to buy the tokens, and it's one token per paintball. And anyway, you can shoot us. So we dress up, and we are 50 yards away, 30 yards away, and you can have at it. And
So you dress up as zombies or turkeys?
Or zombie turkeys.
zombie turkeys.
So turkeys that are zombies.
Yes.
With
undead
all-
fowl.
So does this
Gobble,
happen
gobble.
like between Halloween and Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I think that's the
Okay.
gist. It's close.
It's
to,
all making sense
Close
now.
to Thanksgiving, of course.
There are not enough Halloween Thanksgiving mashups in the world.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And I'm very proud that you guys are blazing that trail. I think we need more of that.
Well, when you bring your stuff to Thanksgiving dinner, you can bring the monster mashed potatoes with you and have that. That can be your mashup.
Mashed
Did you
potatoes.
say the monster mashed
Monster
potatoes?
mashed
Did you make
potatoes.
that up
It was
yourself?
graveyard
I
smashed
did.
potatoes.
Exactly. Exactly.
Graveyard smashed potatoes. I like that. I didn't like monster mashed potatoes, but then with the follow-up,
Well,
It's a collaborative effort.
yeah, I think I'm starting to dig it.
So speaking of holidays that happen in the fall, you guys are extremely decorated for Halloween, which I can totally get
Yeah,
behind.
place looks awesome.
Yeah.
The place looks kick-ass. There's Satan is here, Frankenstein is here, skeletons are here, things are hanging from everywhere. But this is not just to decorate. I mean, it's awesome. But you guys have a pretty big Halloween event.
yeah,
Coming
it's
up
our
as well.
It's our brew fest. I don't think we have over 30 this year. Last year we had 22 or so. I think we have 30 breweries, or the mead outlet is coming. But Joe Fazekas, one of the owners, he is a rabid fan of Halloween and all things dark, or all things occulty.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a battle of good and evil, because Mike is the dude that loves Christmas so much,
Oh, this
and
is
it's
the
equally
rivalry.
gaudy, or if you will,
Right.
around Christmas when we take all this down. But yeah, this is nice. These are all Joe's personal things too. There's a 12-foot demon in the corner. I don't know if you noticed it when you walked in.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's.
So the fest happens here at the brewery?
So the fest is the 22nd. October 22nd in the parking lot of the brewery, and then we use the inside for whatever we need it for. But last year we had 1,200 folks show up. So,
Wow.
it was really good. This year I know we limited tickets to 800. And then with all the, everyone that works here and all the volunteers and stuff, I'm sure people will get in. But it's gonna be big. What else is worth mentioning? I mean, it's live music. It's a really great price to drink. Over 30. I hope I'm not misspeaking when I say over 30 breweries, or related to something pouring. Like
Libations.
I said, yeah, libations is easier.
Food trucks? Food at
Food
all?
trucks galore, live music, so much beer.
Now, do people dress up in Halloween costumes when they come?
So
So
they'll
is
be
there
judged.
a Halloween? I was going to say, is there a contest?
There is, yep.
They'll be judged.
They'll be judged.
They'll
And
be
I think
judged.
we give you the winner last year, I think. I have pictures of Paul, actually, on my phone from last year.
Yes.
What was Paul last
I'm going
year?
to see those.
I'll look them up. But I think the winner gets next year's membership. So we have a beer
how
club
cool.
membership. You get all sorts of kickbacks, various bottle releases, 8 or so through the year, i.e. the bomber. Listen to me.
Bomber.
I say Pokemon like my mom. So
Pokemon.
bomber. So yeah, I think they'll probably get that next year. The winner.
So this club, that is the Irregulars?
Irregulars. Yep.
And what is? How can you join? What's
Money.
the perks?
Money's
Money.
Money,
No.
perks, or beer?
Yeah.
Money, beer.
So this year we did it in 2 tiers. Empire, or
Sith Lord or
yeah, the Sith was the lower, and then
I get that.
the Emperor.
the Emperor. Yeah.
The Emperor is $200, and then you get I think the best part is once a month you drink half price.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
That's great. And then you get
for
a
the
beer
whole
from the
weekend,
back.
too.
Oh, cool.
The whole weekend. Yeah.
So you got a cot too, right?
yeah, on the roof.
You just stay here.
Yeah,
all
we put you in
weekend.
the warehouse out back.
You
you
get
go.
to drink Paul's beer, which is often a coveted beer that is in the back that the irregulars get to try, which we have on right now even. You can't have that if you're a civilian, so to speak. And yeah, you get all the bottle releases. You get to drink half price once a month. You get tickets to our biggest events, which is the Hoppy Halloween, as well as our anniversary party.
You also get to vote on each year's version of the Teabag beer.
Teabag, Bubba's Teabag.
Oh, nice.
So-
You
So you
Collaborative
decide the
teabag,
beer
you're
for the
gonna say.
entire year.
Collaborative teabag.
Yeah. It went from 6, and then the 200 irregulars voted it to 3, and then we opened it to the general public, and from 3 to 1. So the one, we'll pour it next when you guys are ready. It's a cinnamon and plum
Whoa.
tea.
nice.
Pale ale is the base, I believe.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's
Oh,
good
that
stuff, man.
Sounds awesome.
And in addition to these tea beers, you guys are also doing some sour beers in bottles as well.
That is also one of our annual offerings. Each year, we'll take that year's version of the teabag beer, age it in barrels, throw all sorts of funky shit in there, let it age for the whole year, bottle it up, and then right after Christmas, I believe, is when we release those.
Yeah. And I think, I think we definitely have a peach sour coming, and I'm pretty certain a strawberry. Last year was cherry and raspberry. Raspberry in a Cabernet cask, and the cherry in a Shiraz cask.
Well, actually,
And
sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, please, Paul.
I was just going to mention we were having the raspberry one. I saved the bottle, and we'll have that tonight.
Yes.
Oh, that's the one that's in the refrigerator?
You betcha.
I've been eyeing it.
I thought you were going to say I drank it.
Oh, that's
I filled it with cream ale.
not there anymore.
Steal my thunder.
No, that's cool.
That is hilarious. Speaking of things that are behind us, there's a pretty impressive trophy with a freaking keg and a guitar on top of it.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the Philly beer scene guitar.
Yeah, I was on-
Last
I was
time
on
I
that
saw
up.
that, it was at Forest and Maine, but you guys kind of took it from them.
We earned it. We love those guys from Forest and Maine. Hugh Man is their name of the band.
Yeah.
The band at their
and
at
you
their
guys
brewery.
are Stainless Maiden.
We are Stainless Maiden. We have one show left, which I think we're doing Black Friday. It's the final tour of Stainless Maiden. We did win last year's Philly Beer Scene Awards Battle of the Breweries. And we did all Iron Maiden tunes, 3, and I rewrote all the lyrics to beer. So,
Nice.
That's so cool.
That's
so
awesome.
some easy, run to the pills, run to the hills, if you're familiar. The number of the beast, 666, is 001, the number of the yeast, of course. And that's and then the trooper was the brewer. And then most recently we did ABV's high, Aces high, if you know the,
Nice.
But there's some pretty good lyrics.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we won, so.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
fantastic.
Pretty
So
awesome.
you will enter again next year, I assume,
Yeah.
but a whole new band and a whole
Yeah,
new...
Stainless Main's retiring on Black Friday.
Wow.
So we actually are going to play, as I said, and we were speaking about bourbon. Who wants the funky beer that's not working? So the first T-shirts that we printed for Stainless Maiden came out with a terrible flaw. We never sent them back. We're going to, sell them and sign them and take a picture with all of our fans.
Nice.
So you could get the first print of the, the screwed up iron, stainless, the misprinted stainless.
Right.
That sounds like it might be up your alley.
That's
What was
hilarious.
the- what was the
That's going to go in my collection.
Wayne
yeah.
will be first
It
in
has
line.
just
Yeah.
there's like a line through the whole thing. It just they screwed it up, but
Gotcha.
we reprinted them and they're nice. But get the first edition Black Friday.
See, no, that's a misprint I can get behind.
Yeah,
If
right?
it's a misprint, I support it.
yes,
But,
We
but not,
support
not a
misprints.
misbrew.
Not a misbrew. A
Not a
misbrew, I
misbrew.
can't
We do
get
not.
behind.
No, Bartley Kaminsky, if you're listening to this now, we do not support misprints. When you print our T-shirts, please make sure they are correct.
Yeah, I support misprints when they're not ours.
right. Exactly. We'll get the money back.
So, in addition to the event to go to clearly is the Black Friday band event, but you guys are doing a Pints for Pups charity event coming up as well.
Yeah, Paul, you know much about that?
Yeah, that's actually on October 9th this year. Each year, I believe last year was the first year we did this, but we do a charity event where the proceeds from the Pints for Pup event goes to the Rough Life Rescue animal shelter. They are a fantastic animal shelter. I actually got my dog from them last year. From the event is how we met her,
cool.
and it was... Yeah, they don't have a physical pound or whatever you call it,
facility,
rescue.
yeah.
They don't have their own, location. They work through fosters, and all of the animals are, freaking awesome. And I can't speak highly enough about them, but they do great work. Any support you guys can give to them, go for it. But yeah, they're amazing.
People love dogs and beer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
They do
that's
cats
great
too,
things.
but mostly dogs.
What I love is so it's Rough Life Animal Rescue, but it's RUFF.
Yep.
So
It's very clever.
yes, it is very clever. So when you're looking that up on the internet, RUFF. So that's pretty cool.
And did I see that you guys are going to be part of a new weekly charity event as well?
There's going to be a weekly charity event with Mike Esterbrook, and we changed the name to Progress to Brook, and it's gonna, stay tuned. I don't
tuned
know
for
much
details.
about it, truth be told. Do you know much about that? Jay, can you bring that up when Jay comes in?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jay would love to
We'll
speak
come
about
back to that.
Yeah,
Well, how long has Broken Goblet been in existence? I know they started off as the
yeah, the beer club.
brutal.
But this place has been here for over 2 years.
Okay.
July was 2 years.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on that.
Thanks,
Have
yeah.
you been here since the beginning?
No, but I know I've been here just over a year,
Okay.
and I know the dudes from way back. I actually helped find the space for them.
Oh, cool.
Here, and Jay Gross and I were in music. He recorded my album or my band's album. Mike is another owner who Jay recorded, so we kind of knew each other for the better part of 10 years.
Awesome.
And you can tell music is definitely a part of the atmosphere here. As soon as you walk in, there's that awesome stage.
Yeah, nice little stage. We have live music, mostly Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, usually Saturday. So we utilize it a lot.
Yeah.
Stand-up comedy, on
Magicians.
occasion.
Really? That's
Magicians even.
Wow.
What?
Cool.
Magicians
What about-
even.
Ventriloquists.
Ventriloquists.
We draw the line.
We are currently
We draw the
auditioning.
line.
Yeah,
There you go,
let's draw
Steph.
the
You
lines
can
over
audition.
here.
That's too far. I can't do that. Are you kidding?
So there will be live music tonight in about 15 minutes or so in real time. I don't know how long that'll be in podcast time.
No,
Yeah,
an
for-
hour and 15 minutes.
Oh, I
Right?
thought it was
9
8
o'clock.
Nine.
Oh, I thought it was
Oh,
8.
I thought it was
Yeah,
I
we have
apologize.
time. We have time.
No, I mean I don't care if the music's in the
Talk fast,
background.
talk fast.
That was what I was going to say. Is so you will probably be hearing some music in the background later in the podcast
At some point.
So we should mention what the band is going to be that's playing this evening.
Mike and Shanna are playing tonight. Real sweet duo from Lower Bucks County. They're married. They are sweet as pie.
Nice.
So you get a variety of music here.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. We don't do a lot of full bands just because it's so small.
Yeah.
On occasion, we'll do it, but it's a variety. Mostly acoustic-y stuff. Often a lot of covers, but often not a lot of covers. Bluesy, Stainless Maiden. It's like metal. The dudes love metal here. The two owners. So
Nothing wrong with that.
yeah, they have a soft spot for
Well,
metal.
And I know you said, too, that you have your stainless shirts that are going to be in. But Paul's actually wearing another shirt that you guys have. And is that on sale all the time, the craft beer and death metal shirt?
Yeah, we've been putting orders in for them. That one's probably not going to go anywhere, the death metal in particular, because, as I said, they love it. But we also currently have prog rock.
Soul music.
Soul
and
music.
Porno
Yeah, there's a
music.
soul music.
That was
one.
mine. That was my idea.
What was the other one?
Soul.
You heard me
prog
right.
rock.
And-
Prog
Is it
rock.
porn music?
And
Porno
porno.
music.
Oh,
Nice.
I
Craft beer and
didn't
porn
hear that.
music.
All
Yeah.
right.
And then, so it has a very, a cute thing in the back. Each shirt has its own. For soul music, it says, "I just called to say I love brew," and then Prague has playing in odd time signatures since 2014. Yeah, so
What's on the back of that
they're
one?
cute. They're really cute. This one says brewing and headbanging since 2014.
Nice.
Nice.
That's
And then,
so cool.
Yeah,
What does
the
the porno
porno
one
one
say?
It's nasty.
It's nasty.
kind of nasty.
Yeah.
There's 2 words in it I wouldn't use. Like, not like foul, but just, I don't know, man. I don't think it's exemplary of come drink here.
Yeah.
It's along the lines of we're infected or some shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Or it could say drink come here.
Yes. And be teabagged.
Damn it.
Oh,
Brown
Wow.
chicken, brown cow.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
Yes.
That's what it should say on the back.
that would have worked.
That would work.
So we talked a little bit about how long Righteous has been around here, and we know, Paul, you are a pretty recent addition to Broken Goblet. So when did you start here, and what brought you here?
I started here last April. So if your fans will remember back in the early Beer Buster days when Ken and I were working on the Dabbler plan.
What was
That's
that?
right.
That was episode 30-something,
That was.
right?
30-something.
So not so much a
30-something.
recent addition. I guess I was wrong on that because you've actually been here for a while then.
Yeah, you might have.
Time flies when you're podcasting.
What's it been? 7-8 months?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
By the time this comes out, 9 months. So.
Right.
Yeah.
When the first brew, your first brew, even, because you feel like you've been around a long time. You've been around since I was here.
I've been around here since way before the Dabbler days.
Right.
But that's how Ken and I became close with the owners here back when we were trying to start our own thing because they had a very similar setup to what we were looking to do, so we were picking their brains for ideas and all that kind of fun stuff. And, I don't understand this, permits and shit I have to get. Can you help me work through this paperwork? And they were awesome and super friendly. And we'd bring them beer every time we came, and we were one of the few people to bring them beer that the beer didn't suck because they get a lot, like every brewer, tons of home brewers bring their stuff to people. And if you're a home brewer out there and you do that, keep doing it. Brewers super appreciate it, especially when it's good. Don't feel discouraged. Keep trying. But I guess we impressed them enough with the beer that we brought that they wanted to bring me on and do their special one-off batches. So everything I'm brewing here, it's usually once or twice a month. It's everything for the bottle club and the mug club. So, just all one-off batches. Recipes I've made and perfected over the years.
All the fun stuff.
That was
Exactly.
fun stuff. So, yeah.
Oh man, what a treat! One of the finest beers I ever set my lips on was Paul's cucumber and mint wit.
We were briefly talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
Holy frickin' smokes!
Because you said something along the lines of, like, Belgian and mint don't go together very well, and then I told you have to do it. You've got to find a way to do it.
Yeah, I figured that out, but I think the conversation we're having was I couldn't taste the Belgian beer too well because I had just eaten some gum. But yeah,
That's where it came from.
Spearmint and Belgian, I can't find a way in my head right now to make that work.
I believe in you.
But cucumber mint wit, I did that as a total throwaway. Like, I have this extra 10-gallon keg and I had to throw some shit in to make it interesting for the the irregulars. And it just
it was good.
It friggin' blew even my socks off. And
yeah.
I'm usually a pretty harsh critic of my own beer, but
Yeah.
I bought a growler of it, and it's not like me to make beer for somebody else and then buy it back from them.
Yeah, it was hot. It was it was perfect time it went on too because it was hot. It was just a perfect time to drink that style.
So
man.
you're going to have to recreate it.
I was going to say, are there any
Yeah.
plans to bring it back?
I'm gonna bring it back whether they want me to or not.
Yeah, I
brew it.
tried to put some good work in for you.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't think you'll have any arguments
So that's
there.
pretty cool. It's got to be pretty awesome to be like, your job as your brewing capacity here is you make like the cool one-off beers, and like that's your thing.
When they asked me to do this, I almost thought they were joking at first because it was literally the dream job. It's like, all right, I can quit what I'm doing, become a full-time brewer, and remake the same 5 beers for the rest of my life, and
Right.
I would still love the shit out of that. But now I get to keep the regular 9-to-5 boring job, but I get to still be creative and make beer. And I'd be doing it myself in the garage, regardless of whether they're going to pay me. But now I got someone to pay me to do it. I'm doing it on a professional system. I'm getting experience, and I'm doing what I love, and I get to share it with the world. Like,
That's
it's cool.
pretty cool. It's kind of like,
it's literally a dream job.
I'd imagine it sort of has that same spirit of homebrewing. Only, like you said, you're doing it on
Only way better.
only way exactly because when you're homebrewing, you can brew whatever the hell beer you want. You can get as crazy as you want, and so to be able to come into a commercial brewery and actually serve your beer and still have that sort of spirit of experimentation constantly.
Exactly. And because you want
to
to keep it interesting and different for the regulars who are here all the time, you want to give them something they can try that's different every time they walk through the door. It's the perfect opportunity to do that because you can make a huge batch of one beer, dump it in a bunch of different kegs, add different fruit or extracts or whatever you want to each different keg, spice it up however you want, and just go nuts. It's a total creative exercise, and I'm loving it.
Have you ever had an idea for a beer and they said no?
Not yet.
Not yet.
He's trying, though.
Challenge
He's
challenge
trying.
accepted.
The one-off.
Belgian mint.
Well, yeah.
They might say
How
no to
about
that.
you may be the third brewer I've presented this to. What about a pickle beer?
No.
Like a beer,
No.
like I'm
with it,
thinking
man.
like a
I'm with
salty, like goza, salty
Yeah.
tart
I think
goza
that
with
would be
like
good.
with dill in it.
There are definitely
Like a
some
pickle
hops
beer.
that have dill-ish aromas that could go
See?
well
we
with
can
that.
make this work.
It could happen.
I want a pickle beer. Just saying.
Delish.
I want to pickle back.
A cucumber dill pickle sort
Yeah.
of goes. I don't know. That sounds appealing to me. I like that.
I think you could do
great.
also a pickle pepper saison,
What kind of pepper?
like black pepper.
Pickle pepper.
How
Not
many
like
pickled
hot pepper.
peppered
Okay.
saisons
Pickle pepper.
could have?
I'm trying to think of another P word
Peter Piper picked a
that would
pickle-
go with that. I
pickle
know
pepper
where you're coming
saisons.
from, but
Saisons are great for that, though. You can throw anything in
Pick-
saison.
yeah,
and
you
it
can do
tastes good.
anything.
That's why I love saison.
Saisons are like cheating.
Saisons are like cheating. I like that.
It's like throwing citric and mosaic hops in an IPA. It's like
yeah.
it just takes all the fun out of it. You don't have to think. You just dump them in there and it comes out good.
It's like
Sometimes you don't
brewing
want to
by
think.
numbers.
Sometimes you just
That's
want it
true.
to turn out good.
This one on now too, man. It's really. I think I'm hard on the style actually.
The Belgian strong ale?
Yeah, I wasn't terribly familiar. I certainly got immediately sort of a connotation of, and I had to read about it. So you've schooled me, but it really tasted a triple to me. I suppose it's a cousin of on some level.
Yeah,
I don't quite know all the differences, but yeah, it evoked a little bit of Golden Monkey. So I had flashbacks.
They're very similar in style.
Nude flashbacks.
They're-
Nude golden monkey.
Steph can probably
flashback.
school
Yeah,
me on
there's
this,
three
but
of
I
them.
believe the Belgian strong ales are they're basically triples, but they're a little drier.
Okay, well that's
Belgian-
nice.
Belgian strong
Good
ales, yeah.
talking point for me
Yeah.
at the bar.
Yeah.
There you
Got to
go.
do your research.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of beer, so do we want to?
Drink more? Yes.
So I have to point out that it's a very busy night here, which is great for the guys at Broken Goblet. But Wright just had to step behind the bar, which means we've got somebody tagging in for him. We've got
Jay Gross.
I thought Righteous just suddenly like transformed into someone else.
I'm not that good looking, so that's not bad.
Yeah. Well, his mustache, I will say, is a little bit more epic.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Yeah. It's a nice mustache.
So, Jay, we know you are one of the co-owners of Broken Goblet.
Correct.
So I have to ask, because I asked most brewery owners this, what the hell were you thinking? What made you want to open a brewery?
Pretty much, Mike and I hate our day jobs. Is really what
answer.
it comes down to. I owned a recording studio before this, and he was a drummer. I used to record him, and we would just sit around drinking beer and saying, "What could we do?" We figured out maybe we can open up a speakeasy, but we didn't know how legitimate that would be. So then we started a beer club, and that beer club, we met monthly and had there were times we had 100 people there, usually average around 50, and we were blind tasting beers, and eventually we got Bub and Joe said they wanted to be part of it, so then we started blind tasting the beers that we were working on, our own recipes, and it kind of went from there to here.
Very nice.
Fantastic.
I
And-
love the story of it. Like, it was me and my friends, and we were sitting around drinking beer, and something like either we hated our jobs or we wanted to, we were bored with what we were doing. And we were like, hey, let's open a brewery. Like, yeah, we totally should open a brewery. And then we're like, and then you actually do.
I
That's always
almost
cool.
fell for that trap. I almost fell for it.
Almost. It doesn't always work, which is what makes it more, special.
Yeah,
More
it's
special.
a frustrating, or can be a frustrating thing.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And speaking of partners who want to open breweries, I don't know if we told you, but we are recording at Round Guys coming up.
and there's a high five.
The bad high
was-
five.
I was
That
gonna
was a
say,
very
you
white
should- you
people
could do it
high
into the microphone.
I'm trying to think. I think it will actually be the next episode after this.
I think it will.
It's too far ahead.
I'm
I don't,
thinking
I don't
math.
Think of it. I'm
Yeah.
thinking math.
So Ken will be on our podcast again. But anyway, so we have two beers in front of us.
We
guys,
do. We do.
that we should talk about.
Yes.
One of them is dark. Should we start with the dark one?
Should we go Dark Delight?
Dark Delight.
Let's do Dark Delight.
Let's do it. This is the Yin Yang Oatmeal Stout. It's 7.1%.
I believe it's yin yang.
Oh, come on.
That was an off-air conversation that only the people at the table would get.
Ooh, this smells really, really nice. Nice dark roasty malts, a little bit of coffee, and even dark chocolate.
I think it
quite
actually,
nice.
like what I get out of it, and I don't know if this is good or not, it kind of blends together, and I get pretzels out of the aroma.
Okay,
Yeah, I can see that.
All right.
Like a dark chocolate covered pretzel,
malt,
maybe?
like a biscuity malt character, a little bit in there, a little roasty. Yeah. Oh, now that you said that, now I do.
All
Get
right.
a little. I get a little pretzel.
All right.
I think it's just because you put the idea in
A
my
little
head.
pretzel.
A hair
I get a
Dutch.
little, I get a little pretzel.
A little pretzel. A little
pretzel.
pretzel. I really like this, though. It's got a really nice, and I almost used my trademark word, but it's got a very very pleasant mouthfeel.
silky.
I will accept. You were allowed to use that word when you're talking about mouthfeel because it works for mouthfeel.
I know, but I feel weird if I say that. Smooth. It's smooth.
It's smooth.
So you said it was 7.1? Is that what it was?
Correct. Yeah.
Man, I don't know that I
It
would.
goes down pretty easy for.
I would not have
7.1.
guessed 7.1.
Although it does have, I mean, it's got a fairly bold character to the flavors. So.
But I would attribute that to like the coffee and the chocolate.
yeah.
But there's no coffee nor chocolate in this beer, correct?
That is very
No.
correct.
Right, but it's got the notes
So it's
of
all
it.
from
but it's
the
from
malts.
the malts.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got to say, I don't really see many oatmeal stouts anymore. So I was happy when I saw that on the tasting notes we were going to have. Most people do stouts, but I feel like there's something special to oatmeal stouts, and it's probably the oats that give it the
Mouthfeel you were describing
yeah.
earlier, yeah. It's definitely a big contributing factor to that.
Yeah, because a lot of the other ones you get are kind of like it's a dark color, bold smell, kind of good flavor. They're well executed, but it's thin.
Yeah,
but
it's
this
almost
is
like
more,
an oil slick. It's just straight
right,
down.
Yeah, this is a lot more robust, and I really like that.
Or an oyster.
So, Jay,
Straight down.
when Righteous was at the table, we had a great conversation about the history of Broken Goblet and some of the great beer releases and events that you guys do here. But there was one specific event that we asked them about, and they felt that you would be best to talk
Okay.
about it. And I guess there's a new weekly charity event.
Progestabrook.
Progrestabrook.
There you
Yeah, okay. So the idea of it is, what can we do charity-wise on a consistent basis? So my idea was kind of doing like a lottery 50-50 type deal. So what's going to happen is Mike Esterbrook plays here every Thursday night, and he has a list of about 700 songs. We've narrowed that list down to, I think, 50 of songs that he enjoys to play and people enjoy hearing. So when you come in at night, you can pick up one of these sheets, and it's $5, and you pick 3 songs. So sometime during his second set, he's going to say, "All right, everybody, it's Progrestabrook time," and he's going to play. He's like, "Here's song number 1," and he's going to play it. He's going to play song number 2. And he's going to play song number 3, and then on the stage there's going to be a board that he'll turn around to see that it was randomly picked. We were going to use a random number generator, and then if you picked all 3 of them, you win half the pot. The other half goes to charity.
Oh, how cool.
That is a really neat idea, yeah.
And the progressive part is, the chances of getting 3 out of 50 is kind of high. So, next week, chances are no one's going to win it, and it goes on to the next week. And so that's where the whole lottery idea comes into play. And, if you win 1, you'll get a smaller prize. Or if you pick 1, you'll get a smaller prize. You pick 2, you get a smaller prize. If you pick 3, you get the grand prize.
That's pretty awesome.
So, and each time it'll be a different charity. So when finally someone wins it, that money goes to one charity. Then next time we'll start, and it's going to go to a different charity.
Do you have some charities in mind that you're going to use?
I'm going to let Mike pick those.
Mike's going to. Very cool.
Yeah, because we'll probably start with ALS, because that's usually what he likes to start with, and then we'll kind of go from there.
That's really cool because you pick your songs, and like the way that you know that you won is he just starts playing the song.
Yeah.
So it's like one
That's
of those.
cool.
Like when you're at a concert and a band starts playing the opening notes of like their most popular song and everybody goes crazy. It's like a similar thing, but it's like
Right.
I just
one
won
guy goes
something
crazy.
because he's playing my song. That's pretty awesome. That's a really cool idea.
Yeah, I think
like
it'll be a fun thing for fun interactive thing for the people who come in.
Yeah, it's a really unique idea, and a unique approach to that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's a fun way to bring together the beer, the philanthropy, and also music, because you can tell music is such with your background and Mike's background, and just like we mentioned earlier, the stage that's in here, we can see that the duo is setting up right now, and such an intimate space to come and see live music, and it just happens to be a bonus that it's a brewery too.
Absolutely.
It's very cool. So speaking of, it's a brewery.
It's a brewery.
It's a brewery.
Good
It's a
segue.
brewery.
Yeah, the other beer that I accidentally.
So
stole
now
from
we're
my
on to the
team.
teabag.
Are we on to a
We're
teabag?
getting
Are we done? Are we done giggling at teabag?
No,
Have we
I don't
had
think
enough
we
of
will
that?
stop giggling
Never.
at teabag.
We're getting teabagged.
We didn't name it Teabag so you would stop giggling at that. That's true.
Well,
They
we got,
even have teabag t-shirts.
we got mildly chastised for being juvenile earlier.
No, it's all right. I think it's all right.
I haven't taken a sip of this yet, but I have taken a sniff. Holy
Oh my goodness!
crap!
Oh, take a sip too.
That smells
I
amazing.
just want to smell it for a while. It
Yeah, I
smells
know.
Really nice.
If I could get this in a candle, that would be awesome.
Oh my god.
Maybe.
Wow.
I don't know if that's I guess it's a compliment.
Oh my what?
Oh wow, that's
Dan's tapping out.
delicious.
I appreciate
There's a lot going on in there.
But I appreciate that the base of the beer is a pale ale.
Yeah.
So there's still something there at the base. Because sometimes I've had beers that are made with tea or libations that are made with tea, and they're tasty and they're delicious, but the mouthfeel and like the oomph of the beverage is just missing. And this, like, I feel like that pale ale base, it still reminds you it's a beer, and there's still something like to hold on to, if that makes sense. And no, I didn't say that because of, but you know what I'm trying to say?
I have no idea what
Nope,
you're trying
not
to say.
really.
But that's okay. You can say it. You do you.
I just feel like
Jay's
it's a
following
really
you.
well
He knows what
done.
you're talking about.
Like the tea is really nice, but it's not the only component.
No, I
like
understand what
it's
you're saying.
still a well-made
I feel like
beverage.
the pale ale character comes in at the end and sort of like cleans up the tea.
Right.
It's surprisingly like sweet and like vanilla like.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I
and
get
you
a
would
little of that.
expect it to hang on for a while,
But it doesn't.
Yeah. And this is the one we talked about earlier, that the mug club or the irregulars get to vote on the tea that goes into this.
Yeah, would you like me? I can explain that a little bit more. What happens?
Sure. Well, we talked about it a little bit
Yeah,
earlier, but I actually wanted to, like, the inspiration, because we know, like, the history of Broken Goblet started with the beer club, and so was having something like the irregulars an idea, like, from the beginning, like you wanted to have that sort of extra level of not just like a cool thing to be in, but also to have involvement in the process.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out how to keep our original beer club members still involved when the brewery opens. Like, what could we do? And we're sitting around, and we figured we would call it irregulars just because it's funny, and there's Mike and I think marketing. We kind of think there's cool. We visualize things a lot.
Yeah.
And yet, the day we opened, we figured we would start with 50 slots, and the 50 slots sold out the day we opened. So that was a 6-month membership, and then we opened it again in January, and then that went on for the year, and that was 150. And then this year we did 250.
Wow.
Yeah, and part of it is we want your input on some things, and part of it is every year in January, February-ish, we do the teabag thing where they come in and get to vote on what one they want to have for that year's version.
That's pretty awesome. And we've had on the show beer tea, infusions, beers made with tea. This is really unique.
Yeah.
Like I this is one of those beers I drink and I'm like, I've never had anything.
I was going to say,
before.
this is probably the most unique beer I've ever had.
Right. So, and I know that we talked a little bit earlier about Paul's awesome, enviable job here to do like all the interesting small batch kind of stuff, but brewing with stuff like tea and using sort of unusual ingredients and doing experimental things, was that something that's always sort of driven you as a beer drinker, and also sort of the philosophy of when you open the brewery?
Yes and no. Yeah. I mean, I think we're all firm believers of you need to be able to make a beer.
Yeah.
Like the oatmeal stout, we feel we need to be able to make an oatmeal stout. The same with our Saison. We feel our Saison is a very strong beer. So we like having the base good and then going off of the base and doing the fun things. And that's kind of where Teabags started, where they had a good pale ale, and then they're like, oh, right, that's what the base is, right? Remember, I'm not the beer guy.
No, you're right. You're on track.
Yeah. So, and then they just started, messing with the different teas, and then figured it out from there.
So where do you get the tea from? Is it locally sourced? Is it like one brand in particular, or?
It all started with Tivana. They were Tivana teas. The original version was a tea called Superfruit from Tivana. And what happened was we were doing that for years. And one Sunday, the general manager from Tivana called us and said, hey, guys, we're done making that tea. So that Sunday, we went out and bought all of it within it's probably about 20 miles around here.
Right.
We spent $2,000 on tea that day.
Oh, my God.
And that lasted us...
Their tea is not cheap.
No, it's not.
And they were giving us 30% discount. They were giving us a discount. I forget the exact amount.
Right.
But yeah, we went and bought all of it around the area, and that lasted us, a little bit longer. And then that's why we got into the voting of it, like what the New Year's version is going to be, because we can't rely on them to have that tea. But now we have teamed up with a wholesaler who actually Tivana buys their tea from. So now we are getting a little bit better pricing, but also hopefully getting something more consistent that if we wanted to keep that version, we should be able to keep it.
Right. So then on sort of the business side of it, you mentioned spending $2,000 on tea in one day. Do you find that brewing with tea is one of the more like costly endeavors? And do you know, like, as far as when you're balancing what you're putting into a beer financially as to what you're charging for it and how it's selling?
Yeah, the tea beers are more expensive to make.
Yeah.
Some of them, take a lot. Some of them don't take as much. So, I mean, it really depends on the beer. And then there are certain teas that are just more expensive in general. Like the ones that we use for the tea bag are usually like these fruit-based teas. So, yeah, they are a little bit more expensive.
But worth it
How
because
hard
this is
is
awesome.
it? Like, I've never done this. Did you guys ever consider making your own tea?
No, we have not.
Or growing tea on the roof.
I mean, I
or
don't-
something.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be a fun project.
That
Come on,
could be.
Paul, figure that out.
Paul, get on it. That's your
The
job.
brewer, not the botanist. Like, what do you mean?
Well, no, come on. You're
gotta-
the
you gotta
janitor.
branch out.
You just happen to make cool stuff, but no, but wouldn't that be cool?
Hey, that's a cool idea.
That would be.
I mean, tea is
Plenty of
such
breweries
a...
have their own hop.
That's true.
That's
So
true,
why
yeah.
not?
And grow herbs and vegetables and fruits that they use. Why not try to... I don't know. I feel like that would be possible.
Would this climate support it? I don't know how.
I have no
I mean,
idea.
we have to
I
figure
don't
out
know
how
anything
tea
about it,
grows, but
Like Paul,
what's
I am
the
also
season?
not a botanist.
well, I mean that's a concern you'd have to think
Well,
of.
like I
what
grow
season-
mint in my backyard,
yeah.
and I
There
can
you go,
dry
Paul. You know
it
where
and
to get your
make
mint
tea
from
from
now.
mint.
It's very true.
Right.
I'm just saying, something to consider.
I mean,
it would
and
be
lots of
really
these-
cool. Like for, let's see, you just had your 2nd anniversary, right?
Correct.
So maybe for your 5th anniversary, give you some time to figure this out.
Yeah,
it could
right.
be like that year's tea beer could be tea made by Broken Goblets.
You've got 3
Yeah.
years. We're coming back.
We're coming back in 3 years. I want tea made here.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing with those teas are lots of them have a little bit of tea leaves, and then it's all other stuff.
That's
Right.
true, yeah.
So, yeah, we probably could grow our own tea, but then
You got to source all
add
the
the
other
other
Yeah,
stuff.
spice it up
also,
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting idea.
Food for thought.
Food for thought. So it looks like the band's going to be, or at least the band's warming up right now. And we talked a lot about the musical sort of influence and musical acts and comedy acts that you have had here. Music for you is obviously, was that part of the driving force behind like the sort of the identity of Broken Goblet?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think so. Mike and I are musicians, so yeah, it's very important to us. And I know, eventually when we expand the whole music thing, the ideas we have are going to expand well beyond what we do here. We're just so limited by space right now.
Right.
Both of us are drummers too, so it's painful to be like, yeah, there's really no drums in this room because it gets too loud. Every once in a while, we do it to certain people. When we know a band's going to come in here and they're going to bring 100 people, I don't mind drums being in here
Right.
because there's 100 people here and it's going to make it quieter to begin with, but
Right.
also they're bringing all these people. So yeah, it definitely is a part of our identity.
Or you could just have like 20 people here, but tell them they all have to stand in a line right in front of the stage to sort of muffle the sound.
Yeah, just to shield it from me.
For,
Yeah.
for acoustic sake, we're going to need all of you to just stand right here in a semicircle.
So you kind of alluded to this, but what are the future goals of Broken Goblet? Where do you see this business going in the next several years? Or where do you hope to see it go?
Well, you're going to be growing your own tea.
Growing your own
Yes,
tea?
we're going
In
to
the
turn
next
into a
3
tea
years.
business. I mean, we have a lot of things that we're working on right now. It's trying to organize them all and find the funding for them all is the fun part. We were thinking of trying to find an investor, but I think we've decided against that and just figured, you know what, we started this on our own. We're just going to continue trying to do it on our own. And, we want to expand our system and then expand our tasting room. It's probably not going to happen in this building. So, yeah, there are other buildings that we're looking at right now, and we'll see what happens.
But do you want to stay in this area, I imagine?
Yes, we're going to stay within this area.
Are you
absolutely.
and Mike from this area? Is that why here?
No, I'm from not far away, and Mike's over in Jersey. I mean, we're not far from this area. The reason we ended up in this building was just like this weird kind of where we used to have the beer club was my recording studio. We were going to do it there. The owner didn't want us to have it there. One of the guys that shows up at our Halloween party, his dad owned this building. He's like, hey, I got this space. Come look at it. And we ended up coming here. We're like, oh, this is pretty cool. So we ended up here. And this is Grundy's Lane, where the old place was Grundy Building. We thought it was like a Kismet kind of thing. So we came in here, and there were plans for us to expand here. Probably not going to happen now, so we're just going to look for another space to do that at.
Yeah, I like that you're thinking that far ahead, and you want to stay kind of local here because everybody knows that you're here. I do like the space that you guys have though, and it seems like you're able to do a lot of cool stuff. I mean, Paul gets to experiment with his stuff. You have, the band that gets to come in and play. It seems like it's working well. I'd be intrigued to see what the next few years has in store for you guys.
Yes, thank you. I am too. I'm very curious.
Cool. Me too.
I just want to smell this beer.
I know. I
It's
finished it.
so
I'm telling you,
good.
it would be a good candle.
It tastes wonderful too, but it just smells so good.
Well, you're sick. I don't want to.
I'm not sick anymore.
I'll drink it.
I'm sure we can get you more.
See, I'm counting my calories so my co-hosts get to drink all the rest of my beer.
Yeah.
Because I see calorie with every sip.
I see.
That should be a future Know Your Beers. How to drink beer and lose weight.
Happiness.
I know. So speaking of happy.
Speaking of happy,
Yes.
indeed, I'm going to not drink through the rest of these beers so I can savor them during the game. But Wayne, what do we have in store?
Let's play a game. Cheers.
Yay, the cool music.
Internets. And welcome to Happy Fun Time Games, the only podcast trivia segment that is only happy when it rains.
Yeah, well, it's raining outside. So.
I only smile in the dark. My only comfort is the night gone by.
And I didn't accidentally
tell you that. On this episode, we'll be playing Band or Beer, given all the musical connections here at Broken Goblet.
Oh,
And
then I don't feel like Jay should play. I feel like he's going to win.
I almost just said Broken Goblin,
Broken
Oh,
Goblet. It
that's kind
works.
of cool too.
which I
Yes.
think
that would fit with us.
I think that would be a cool name for a beer.
Very
'Cause
seasonally
I-
appropriate.
Right, and you have the Hobbit themed beer. You have the Fall of Isengard.
Yeah, we have some obsessions.
Yeah, you need to have a Broken Goblin. Anyway, that was a bit of a divergence there. On this episode, we're playing Band or Beer, and since this episode will be released just after Halloween, I thought it would be fitting to keep with a dark and somber theme before everyone out there in the podcast verse gets all caught up in the warm and fuzzy merriment of the winter holiday. So this is going to be one little dash of Satan before Santa, as it
A dash of
were.
Satan before Santa.
Dash of Satan. Before
There's a beer name for you.
Dash of Saint.
That's a Thanksgiving beer.
So the way this game works for anybody out there who may not know is I'm going to give you a name of something, and that something is either the name of a band or the name of a beer, and you have to tell me which one it is. All of the names on today's list have a deliciously gothic spin to them in honor of the Halloween season. And I do want to preemptively give a little shout out to loudwire.com, which is where I actually found all the beers for today's game, because all of the actual beers in the game are also band brewery collaboration beers. So there's an extra sort of layer of things going on.
Make it even harder.
Yes. So we're going to begin to...
Did you say we're going to beer again?
We are going to beer again. That's what we do. To my left with Steph, and the first name, tell me, is this a band or a beer? It is Permanent Funeral.
Band.
Steph is saying that's a band. Paul. what do you
Band.
think? Paul also confidently saying that that's a band. Jay?
Band.
Band. Oh, all right. Everybody's saying band so far. And
Going to buck the trend. Beer.
Dan is saying beer, and Dan is correct.
Yes.
It is
Wow.
a beer. It is the crown jewel of all metal and rock beers. Permanent Funeral is a Three Floyds Brewing and Pig Destroyer collaboration
Destroyer.
beer. Yes, Pig Destroyer.
Yeah.
With a huge ABV of 10.5% and a perfect score overall of 100%, or just 100, I guess, on Rate Beer. It is an Imperial Double IPA, appropriately. Moving on to our next name of the game. And Paul is going to guess first on this one, and this is Dreadful Shadows. Is that a band or a beer?
Band.
Paul again saying that it is a band. Jay, what do you think?
I think it's a band.
Also saying it's a band. Dan?
What was it?
Dreadful Shadows.
That sounds like a band.
Sounds like a band. Okay, fair enough.
Okay,
And
then I'll
Steph-
say beer.
Steph is going to say beer in an attempt to garner some points, but it doesn't work this time
Damn
because
it.
it is, in fact, a band. Dreadful Shadows was a German gothic metal band that
Nice.
formed in 1993 in Berlin. They disbanded in 2000 to work on separate projects.
Project.
I don't know why I can't talk today. In the interim, they were signed with such record labels as Sounds of Delight, which is nice, and Death Wish Office, which is a little bit different. Moving on to our next name of the game, and Jay is going to guess first on this one, and this is one of my favorites. This one is called Immutable Dusk.
That's got to be a beer.
Gotta be a beer, says Jay. Dan, what do you think?
I'm gonna say beer.
Dan is also saying beer. Moving over to Steph.
Sure, beer. What do I know?
Sure, beer. What do I know? And finally, Paul. Everyone said beer so far.
Yeah, let's make it a 4 for 4.
Beer. Pressure also saying beer. Everyone is correct.
Yay!
It is a beer.
Participation for all.
Yes. Instrumental post-metal masters Pelican have some serious cred behind the beer taps. Another entry from Three Floyds Brewery, Pelican's Immutable Dusk Black IPA is an artfully crafted brew with a dark and beguiling flavor.
Ooh, beguiling.
Moving over to Dan to guess first on our next one, and this one is called In the Name of Suffering. Is that a band or a beer?
I will say that is beer.
Dan is saying that it is a beer, Steph.
Beer.
Steph also saying beer. Paul?
Yeah, it sounds like a pepper beer.
Sounds like a pepper beer. It does sound like a pepper beer. That's a good point.
Sign me up.
Band.
Oh, Jay bucking the trend and
Ooh.
saying band. You're incorrect. It is, in fact, a beer. It's a collab with New Orleans sludge pioneers I Hate God, that's with an EYE, with, take a wild guess, everyone, Three Floyds Brewing.
Of course.
Yes, in the name
Man,
of...
they'll collaborate with anyone.
They have a lot of band collaborations, which is why I often use them for this game. In the Name of Suffering is another black IPA, absolutely loaded with hops and malt, boasting a near-perfect score on Rate Beer. We're going to swing back around to Steph to guess first on our next one, and this one is called The Birthday Massacre.
Beer.
Steph is saying that's a beer. Paul, what do you think?
Band.
Oh, Paul is saying it's a band. Jay?
Band.
Band. And finally, Dan?
Beer.
Dan is saying
It
it's
sounds
a
like
beer. Dan and Steph are wrong because it is, in fact, a band.
That's how you high five with microphones around you.
Gotta look at the elbow.
That was very good. I've heard that before. Yes,
Absolutely
look
works.
at the elbow. The Birthday Massacre is a Canadian dark wave and synth rock band that formed in 1999, originally known as Imagica, better known now as The Birthday Massacre. I love that name. The band is known for their playfully macabre and spooky tone, often creating, through the contrast of happy and upbeat melodies, a dark and sinister bed for lyrics. The Birthday Massacre never had wide media coverage and only moderate commercial success, but nevertheless developed a devoted fan base. Their signature song is, perhaps appropriately, Blue. And I looked them up on YouTube, and they're actually pretty good. Dabba-dee, dabba-dee. And that's our last beer of the game, guys. Yeah, so that's
I
the
sucked
end
at that one.
of the fun. So Steph gets no chance at redemption. We're going to add up the points real quick here. We do not, unfortunately, have a German Sparkle party. We do have the next best thing, though, a two-way tie for first place with 4 points apiece. Dan and Paul.
All right, Air 5.
Yeah, buddy. That's what we call a Polish pickle parade. Coming in second place.
The look on Jay's face.
I thought that was something else.
That's
Sorry.
how we do, man. That's how we do. It's a lot of things. It's a very versatile term. Jay is in second place with 3 points, and unfortunately sitting at the bottom.
But
with
I don't
only
have a
2.
goose egg. At least I got a few.
Steph.
Oh, well.
Keep the happy fun time train running by going to patreon.com/beerbusters to sign up to be a Beer Busters patron and support the podcast.
Indeed.
No, your beer.
Know your beers?
Steph, what do we got?
So, while reading an issue of All About Beer magazine recently, I found an article about brewing with tea, called Tea, an untapped beer ingredient, written by Sarah Annis. And I was like, this is perfect for this episode to talk about this. So recently, some breweries like Broken Goblet have begun experimenting brewing with tea. Stone Brewing Company is the first, of course, that comes to mind with their Japanese Green Tea IPA, which was a collaboration among the San Diego brewery Baird Beer in Japan, and Ishii Brewing in Guam. And it was brewed as a fundraiser after the 2011 tsunami in Japan. Stone's creation has inspired many breweries to start brewing with tea, including Maine's Baxter Brewing Company. Their tea beer is called Ceremony. Ceremony is brewed with gunpowder, green tea leaves, and matcha.
Not actual gunpowder.
Not actual gunpowder.
Okay. Just check.
Along with matcha, a green tea powder with a higher concentration of the powder. The brewers from Stone and Baxter stress the importance of hop choice when you are using teas in beer, and they suggest hops that are more on the herbal or citrusy side, like using a crystal hop or Sriracha Ace. The head brewer at Red Brick Brewing Company in Georgia was inspired to brew a beer with tea because he loves the flavor and smell of chai. So he decided to do a chai-spiced milk stout. Red Brick developed in this beer in partnership with organic tea purveyor Rishi Tea and created Sacred Cow. It's since been renamed Divine Bovine. This milk stout is brewed with
Beloved
organic
beef.
There you go. Is brewed with organic chai spices. The beer boasts several chai tea flavors, a combination of cinnamon, cardamom, ginger, and black pepper. Red Brick suggests that if you're using matcha powder, you have to be really careful when you pour large quantities of it into a fermenter, especially that has gas coming out of it, because you could have several people walking away from that fermenter coated in green powder. Although it is very fine and lightweight and blows very, very easily. However, it does smell very nice, they say. So Stone has also experimented using tea in casks as well. They've added tea to casks of Stone Levitation, Stone Pale Ale, and they've released Stone Chai Spiced Imperial Russian Stout, which I've had at the brewery, which is quite delicious. It is brewed with a blend of cinnamon, cardamom, clove, ginger, black pepper, and black tea. So one thing they didn't talk about, and Paul, maybe you can talk about this. At what point in the process do you add the tea, and do you use a hop bag to put the tea in? Do you steep the tea in?
It's added to the fermenter. It's almost like a dry hop.
And do you put it in a hop bag? The tea?
Yep, like a muslin bag.
Very cool.
Now,
so it's exactly the way I was imagining it would be done.
Yeah. Do you know, or have you ever actually added tea to the boil as you would for like hop additions? And
I
what
personally
that would
haven't.
do?
I'm honestly not sure
tea
if
to boiling water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The head brewer Bub, who the beer is named after, I'm not sure if he has. I personally haven't, and I haven't seen him do that. But that doesn't mean that for the year and a half they were around before I was here that they didn't try some crazy shit, and I just didn't know about it. But the way it's produced now and the way it's been produced since they've been open to the public and has been served to them it's added post boil.
Right. Well, and I imagine that's as with dry hopping, you get sort of the most immediate and sort of, what's the word I'm looking for, pronounced flavor.
Yeah, you'll definitely get a lot more aroma,
especially the
added
aroma.
At that point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That nose that Dan was commenting on, you're going to get that from post fermentation or even just late fermentation, adding it there.
I'm curious what adding, how if it would work the same as hops, with the flavor, bitterness, aroma, characteristics that it imparts, or if that's unique to how hops interact with in the kettle, or if that
there's
applies.
no alpha acids in tea that I'm aware of, so I don't think you'd get bitterness from that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not an expert.
This is all pure speculation.
We need a Beer Bust episode to discuss the science behind tea.
Yes.
Figure this out.
I would enjoy that episode a lot.
We're getting cocooned.
We are. That's a good idea.
We're getting shuttered in. Actually, no.
So before they completely shutter us in,
we do have.
We
more
do have
beers
2
to
more
taste.
beers.
We do.
Beer me! Beer me! Beer me! Beer me!
Round 2, fight.
All right. So Paul was hard at work getting us some glasses and some beers.
Our beer winch came through.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that have happened, and I'm not sure exactly where we're starting, but what is the first beer that you brought over to us?
First one I brought over was a Belgian strong ale.
With mint, right?
No mint, sorry.
Damn it.
That's next time.
All right.
You're not a club member. You can't have the mint one.
Yeah, that's for exclusive. That's for the Sith Lords only.
Just kidding.
I'm a Jedi, man.
And what is this Belgian strong ale called?
Actually, the irregular beers don't get fun names.
So this is just called the Belgian strong ale?
This is the irregular Belgian strong ale.
Nice.
Irregular?
The irregular beers are so quick to come on and off tap that by the time anyone knew their names, they wouldn't be able to get them again. So, yeah, we ask
That's
people
a
not
good
to
point.
put them on untapped or anything, just because they're gonna be so short lived. You know,
Right.
if they really blow
This
the
better
house
be
down.
on Untapped, or I'm not drinking it.
Wow, really?
Whoa.
Well, you're watching your calories anyway, so
This is true, that's true, that's
we'll let
true.
Rich have this one.
There you go, Rich. This is for you.
But no,
This is definitely a beer Rich would not like.
if an irregular beer, kind of like blows up and people are raving for it, they'll make it a regular. At which
Right.
point it'll get an actual name. It'll get an untapped profile. They'll put the stats.
It'll
on,
grow
all
up
that
and
kind of
become a
This
real
is not
boy.
the
Exactly.
Belgian double, is it?
nonsense. This is not the Belgian double.
Damn it.
No.
That was the second
See.
anniversary
Somebody
beer.
added that one to Untapped.
This is good.
Steph, you're not allowed to add it.
I think she's doing it anyway.
I think she's adding it.
I'm going to tell.
She's got to keep up with those check-ins.
I think this is grounds to kick her out of the brewery.
She's got to make sure that she still has more check-ins than there are breweries.
Funny how Rich perked up when I said we were going to kick Steph out of the brewery. Oh, I can go eat food now?
Yeah, Rich is hungry.
Anyway, speaking of this
Rich
beer.
is going to put her on the wheelie chair and just.
Break the other door
Yeah.
on the way out. This is really, really
This is really good, and it's no nonsense. Like, it is what it is, and that's it. Like, it's not like...
This was
Do you
a.
happen to know what the ABV on this beer is?
Good
It
God.
was 9%.
All right,
9%.
it's not too terrible.
Yeah, this is the I'll say the
I'm asking
the,
for a
the
friend.
vanilla version of the Belgian strong ale. It was a 3-barrel batch I made of this, and each 10-gallon keg got
And not
different,
like literal vanilla, but like vanilla as in
yeah,
like
plain.
just the plain
This is
sort
the
of. Yeah.
this is the no nonsense version.
Yeah.
Nothing added, nothing.
Just want to
wrong.
clarify because you made air quotes, but you can't hear those in the microphone. So.
Oh shit, you can't. I'm making this all night. Christ. All right,
Anyway.
but yeah. So there were. Each 10-gallon keg of this got a different fruit addition. We're going to try another one later on. It was pomegranate raspberry added to this. But this is the plain version with no fruit
Nothing
additions.
added. Right,
Yeah.
right.
This holds up to the style very well.
It does. And like I said, it's sort of
Yeah.
no nonsense. Like
yeah,
it
it doesn't. It doesn't try to be anything
Like,
that's
I'm a
not.
Belgian
it's just,
strong ale,
It's
you
a
know?
it's a well executed traditional Belgian
It's like
strong
what
ale.
Jay alluded to earlier, where the base beer is important, and then you get funky with it. You throw some weird shit
Yeah.
at it, see what sticks, and
that's-
then
yeah,
you run with it.
You always need the good foundation.
I can drink it now.
Oh my God!
Oh, for crying out loud!
It's
So
nice.
fair to say, this beer is now on Untapped,
This beer is now.
and it has
Untapped.
one check-in.
Oh, it'll soon
to
have
be
two.
Oh,
soon to
geez.
be 3.
Dan, this is why I don't use Untapped.
I haven't
This is
checked
just-
in a
this
beer
is
in
just
God
ridiculous.
knows how
I just
long.
want to drink the friggin' beer. I don't need to tell everybody I'm drinking it.
I'll check it in when I edit it.
There you go. That's the spirit.
It's a very solid aroma with this beer too.
So when you craft the recipes for like these base beers for your one-off batches that you do here and the sort of, crazy shit that they let you do, are these recipes that you have sort of honed over time through your home brewing experience?
Most of them.
Yeah.
Yes, the vast majority of the ones I've made here are the ones I've made multiple times and perfected at home, and then just scaled up to their system.
Right.
But there have been 2 or 3 that I just kind of, they wanted X, Y, or Z beer for, this will be seasonally appropriate, so, make it 2 months out in advance, it'll be ready by the time it's fall or whatever.
Right.
And I'm, all right, I'll throw something together, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We can always,
Put it in
make
a barrel.
something else. Exactly. But luckily that hasn't happened yet, and they've all turned out well enough to sell to the general public. So,
So, what
Whatever
about
you
the
want.
beers that we had when you were on the show the first time? Have any of those made an appearance?
Oh
at
yeah,
Broken
have they
Goblet?
evolved
Like
into
what
something
about
here?
that Ronaldo
the
right
Ronaldo-
hook rye?
the Ronaldo
Ronaldo
Right
Rye.
Hook Rye has not appeared here yet, but it's funny you mention that because that is the next one I'm making.
Ah.
Complete with flyers, stuff on the bottles and all.
There will be no flyers, labels. I mean, I think we're pushing
Man.
the envelope as it is with all of the
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings trademark.
There'll be
stuff
giant
we're
eagles
throwing out there. Yeah.
because they're flyers.
But I still have that was
Wrong sport.
Well, Eagles
way
is
off.
a dick. Yeah.
Wrong
No,
sport.
way off. I
was
get
talk-
what you're
no,
going
I-
for, but
Talking about the Hobbit, not sports.
well, I know, but
Sports.
The Eagles are coming.
The-
The Eagles are whatever.
sports.
There's Ken's cameo for the episode.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, no,
It's
you're
on
right.
the soundboard.
Yeah,
actually.
just
Yeah.
yeah, sports.
there it is.
We got 2 thumbs up from Paul.
So you've said these base beers, a lot of them. I had a train of thought and I almost lost it. A lot of these base beers come from homebrew recipes that you've refined over the years, but like the crazy shit that you then add to it, or maybe not so crazy. Pomegranate raspberry isn't that crazy, but are those also things that you did as a home brewer, or are you taking like the stuff you made as a home brewer and sort of taking it up a notch?
I'll try to find whatever fruits or sometimes vegetables that are in season,
Right.
and go nuts with those, see what'll work. A lot of times just things that are in season just wouldn't work in a beer, or at least that style that I'm trying to work with.
Right.
But a lot of times there's enough wiggle room, you can figure stuff out. Hit over Produce Junction, see what they have, and just go nuts.
Sort of just kind of whatever. And is that something you did as a home brewer as well?
Yes, but not as often as I do it here.
Right. So do
Here-
you feel more bold here than you did brewing in your garage?
I feel a higher... I have to be at a higher standard than I do at home. If I'm at home and I double batch, I don't care, and no one will ever know about it.
Right.
If I'm here, they're paying me for my time. They're paying me for the ingredient, or they're paying for the ingredients, and they're buying all the crazy shit I want to put in a keg. I want to be reasonably sure it's going to be something they can sell, or else
Right.
I'm going to feel like a jackass, and they're not going to invite you back next time.
Right.
It'll be a very short-lived contract, but no, so far everything's worked out pretty well.
What's one ingredient you want to work with but haven't yet? Or something maybe you've done at home that you're dying to scale up here and add like crazy stuff into it?
I would love to do like a completely nuts stout or imperial stout, or even like Russian imperial stout, like with just go fucking crazy with peanut butter and vanilla and lactose, and like make it like just balls to the wall nuts.
Wow.
Stout. I would love to do that. Just throw everything I can at it and see what sticks. But that's something I haven't been able to do yet. But I'm working on it.
I'll be your
Sounds
taste tester for
tasty.
that.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
That's a Dan beer
You're
all the way.
right
Yeah.
up Dan's alley there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went down on that one. I'm a huge Purple Monkey dishwasher fan.
Yes! There are dozens of us.
Long live the
The
PMD.
Belching Beaver peanut butter.
That doesn't have chocolate in it.
Throw down.
But I would like to try them side by side next time. So next
So
time
I
we
need
go
to go
to
back to
California.
Southern
Well, if
California.
I can find any in Vegas, I'll bring it back.
Oh, are you joining us again?
Have a seat. You want some?
Yeah, sit down.
on.
I mean, we don't want to take you away from your work, but Paul's getting all the credit here.
Yeah, Paul's
You know?
mate. He deserves a lot of credit.
So, Paul, what are we going to drink next?
So we should tell our listeners that Righteous has joined us again at
Yes.
the table.
Righteous is back.
Nice to be
Back
here.
to the
Thanks
fun.
a lot.
Again.
I
As
love
we-
you. I love what you guys do. Really,
Thank
it's
you.
really,
Thank you.
really wonderful thing.
We love it too.
Oh, you're definitely welcome back.
all the time. So we're going to crack open something that looks
This is the
pretty enticing.
2015 sour tea bag with raspberry.
I like 99% of those words.
I like all of them.
Actually, all of those words.
Sour tea bags are the best tea bags.
Oh my god.
I just look at so people say that all the time at the bar, and I just pretend like I don't get it.
That's all you can do
That's
at
probably
this
the
point.
best thing.
That tickles me more is to confuse them as to how I don't get it.
That's a pretty good strategy. I
Yeah.
like that.
This smells
Need another glass?
really good.
Oh.
Ooh, I like that.
That smells.
I'm getting a lot of raspberry in there, which I love.
And a nice
And like
tart sour.
yeah, like it the I can feel in my jowls the sourness when
This
I
is
like
now
sweet tart sour.
2 years aged at
Ooh.
damn near 2 years. So
the
it is.
Shiraz.
It's no longer a slight sour. It is a
Sour.
kick you in the face sour.
sour.
bring it on.
7.4% alcohol.
You can kind of smell the impending heartburn, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah,
If you know what you're signing up for, it's fantastic.
I
Do
would
you
yeah.
have any Tums?
I'd rather have the heartburn from this than like a fucking habanero sculpin.
Yeah,
Hey, watch it.
apple cider vinegar behind the
The
bar.
amount of
That's why I
shade
carry it
thrown
here.
behind those words was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm really pleased with
Holy
this.
crap.
This was our first run at it too,
Yeah.
as far as I know.
Honestly, I think this is my favorite bottle release they've ever done. The sours came out phenomenal.
Yeah,
Not to say the other bottles have been
Right,
bad.
right,
This
right.
is just, they actually knocked it
That's
out of the
funny,
park.
though.
Are there still bottles of sour that people can buy, or is this kind of just left of?
No, these
Your
are
own
like
private
yeah,
collection?
these are gone. So they're as good as gone.
Right.
And maybe they come out like you said, private. But we have 2 coming soon within the year. I believe one's a peach. I know one's a peach.
Strawberries.
And strawberry.
Strawberry, yeah.
Yeah, peach and strawberry.
Nice.
So,
So
not
is
only
it
do the
the-
fruits change each year, the tea
Base.
That's what I was going to
tea
ask.
base changes as
So
well.
different fruit, different tea. Do you sour them all the same way?
I can't answer that. Bob would know best.
I
But
believe it's the same sour blend of microbes and all that kind of fun stuff, but the barrels may change. The barrels are different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very
They'll
interesting.
get something appropriate for that year's tea. So sometimes it'll be like a white wine or a red wine, or they can go crazy with rum barrels or something like that. And I think there is a rum barrel one too, but it's not one of the sour ones this year.
No, not yeah. There's a rum barrel brew coming out, but not the sour.
This beer is very good.
It is very good.
It's a nice layered and now that it's not just a little sour, it's like how did you phrase it?
This kick you in the face sour.
Kick you in the
Sour,
face.
sour.
I forgot what we were
It is,
getting.
it is a
kicked
very
in.
sharp sour to it.
I forgot what
sharp,
part was
yeah.
getting
It's
kicked,
very
but
sharp. Yeah, it's that part of the evening.
And I did not eat dinner yet, so
No.
Hot dogs are rolling.
Hot dogs are rolling.
We have a
She's-
humble food menu.
Do you have
vegetarian.
vegetarian?
do you have vegan hot dogs?
I'm sorry, not yet, but we're working
Whoa!
on some stuff.
There you go, Steph.
All right, so
gonna
we've got
happen.
a
I'm
pitcher.
Steph, and I approve that message.
I'm Dan, and I approve whatever Paul's about to pour us.
This was the one that needed to settle. Because
Oh, yes.
the carbonation of this beer was, shall we say, enthusiastic.
Well put.
I forget what this one was. What is the beer in question?
This is the pomegranate raspberry version of the Belgian strong ale from earlier.
Daddy.
So you know how we were saying earlier that the base for this was a no nonsense Belgian style beer. This version is all nonsense.
I like that in the
Quite
aroma.
refreshing.
In the aroma, you get a lot of the Belgian characteristics out of it.
Yeah, half fermented fruit doesn't give as much aroma as you'd think.
It doesn't, but it is there in the flavor in a very nice. I don't know what's the word I'm trying to look for, but it's good. It's really
You should
good.
say half fermented fruit in the proper circumstances. Because I've smelled half fermented fruit that wasn't supposed to be,
Yeah,
and it's a powerful thing.
the wines that
juicy.
accidentally turn
It
into,
is
or the
juicy.
grapes almost turn into wine.
It's pomegranate and what else?
Raspberry.
Raspberry.
Yeah, I love raspberry.
Yeah,
It's my favorite.
What I like about this is this version of it. The fruit is subtle. It's not like it's not like compared to the tea beer we had earlier, which was fantastic, but it was very bold in its
Yeah,
character.
it's very fruit or tea forward.
right. Exactly. Like,
can't miss
you
it.
know that this beer is unique. This is still sort of a very well executed Belgian strong ale with no craziness on that end. But just like a subtle little hint of a little nice fruitiness.
It's exactly what we were mentioning earlier, where you're trying to make different versions of staple beers just to keep things interesting for the regulars. They want to come
Right.
in every week and try something different, try something weird, try something new, but not, take them off the rails too much.
Right. And I was actually expecting the fruit character of this to be much more pronounced, and it's very nice that it is as subtle as it is, and it kind of it like makes it a little silkier, almost like in the
Probably should have had this
mouthfeel,
before
and
the sour, only because that could
I was
throw
kind
off
of
your
thinking
taste.
that
Yeah.
as well, so it took me a couple sips to kind of get into it. But
It's like having a double IPA and trying to taste that Pilsner afterwards. It doesn't work out that
there's
well.
a bit of that, yes.
So I have a question, and I probably should have asked it when we had the sour teabag beer. We mentioned the bottle releases are pretty much like the things like this are just for the club members, right?
Some
To an extent, some
are
of them,
allocated.
Anyone can
Right.
buy bottles.
but they get first dibs. I would assume, right?
With your membership, you get a bottle.
Oh,
free.
so you
That's
get
part
a
of your
bottle.
membership fee.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right. So you've got the two different levels. You had the Sith Lord and the Empire, right?
Yeah.
What are the respective costs of this membership?
Total?
Yeah, like
You mean
what would a Sith
each-
Lord and what would an Empire?
Oh, it's $200, $100.
50 and 100?
200,
And
100.
Oh, 100, 200.
For
Okay.
the Emperor, and then for the Sith.
But with the
100.
Emperor, you also get tickets to all of the events they put on.
Oh, but the Sith Lord does not.
What if
That's
I
right.
want the benefits of being an emperor, but I really just want to be called a Sith? Because being called a Sith, I think, is way cooler.
Yeah, we can make that happen.
Just ask
All right.
nicely. We can make that happen.
And then we also like for beer drinking partners or partners in general, you could have added on a partner for $50.
Yeah.
They do not get any amenities, but they get the goblet that you can drink out of. They get the beer
That
in the
is
back.
not broken.
Yeah, that is not broken yet.
Unless you drop it on the floor.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a pretty nice deal for people who like to drink with people they love.
Cool. And how many... So if you get the bottles, how many bottles are there?
Total?
Yeah.
Per year, there's 9 right now.
Yeah, I was gonna
Okay.
say 8.
This
or
year,
so.
there's 9.
So say if you have 9 this year, $100 is the Sith Lord. What does one of these bottles go for if civilian can buy them.
Depending on what's in the bottle, between $10 and $15.
So
it pays for itself with just the bottles.
It does, yeah.
Wow.
Because even at $10, I mean, you're at 90, and then you get some of the other perks.
Yeah.
But even if it's 15,
Yeah, there's
it's over.
exclusive parties and all that kind of fun stuff you
that's
get with
all right,
membership.
that's cool.
Plus
That's
the
really
weekends
cool.
where it's half price beer,
Right.
all that
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
And you said one of those a month, right?
Yeah.
The weekends. I mean, that you can't go.
And we
wrong.
usually piggyback that with a firkin when we do a firkin.
Ooh.
On the hand pump. Ooh. So next one's coming up next Saturday, I think. It's not tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's our Belgian Double with rosemary and...
Please say time.
I was going to say sage, rosemary.
It's not a steak.
Yeah. yeah,
It's
something.
Thanksgiving.
Well, it's got to be
dinner.
rosemary and thyme.
And,
Parsley, sage,
think of fruit.
rosemary, and
I don't know
thyme.
why I'm blanking.
Worse.
Plums.
Suck at this.
That's fine.
It's on Facebook.
It doesn't matter. They missed it anyway.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, this is. Yeah.
Oh, they missed it.
Yeah.
Sorry, listeners.
Sorry, guys.
Whoops.
Sometimes we have to record a lot of episodes like a month ahead of time. Cause,
This way, Dan can go on a vacation.
Yeah, that's how life works.
Black Friday, though, is still on the table for the listeners, right?
All right.
Yes.
For
absolutely.
sure. That
Yeah,
sounds like
totally.
it's going to be
The listeners
amazing.
did miss Pints and Pups and Hoppy Halloween 3.
This year.
But they are recurring annual events, so
That's
they can come next year.
true.
Very true.
And your Facebook page is really good at letting people know, hey, this is going on, hey, this is coming up. So if people are interested, they can go to facebook.com/Broken Goblet. They're also on Twitter at Broken Goblet PA, and their website is brokengoblet.com.
Yes.
So lots of places to get updated on what
Yeah.
is going on now when you're listening to this episode.
Dig it.
Facebook's usually the most up to date.
Something fancy's coming out.
And slightly darker than the fare we've had of late.
That is a nice amber hue to it, if
It
you
is
will.
very amber.
It is the color of our energy.
I was just going to say that.
This is a harvest ale. It's a. I'm a big fall seasonal flavor fan, but I'm sick and tired of pumpkin beers.
Yes, thank
so
you.
this is my take on something I want to drink each fall. So it's I call it the harvest ale. So it's a pumpkin beer without the pumpkin and without the overabundance of just rampant seasonings,
Like
and
super spices,
nonsense, and
just-
spices,
yeah.
and
But you
So-
you get the spices you would
yes,
expect
it
out
tastes
of it.
like fall without.
minus the pumpkin.
Every time I have a pumpkin beer, I have one of them, and then I'm like, all right, good. I'm done for the entire year. I never want to see a pumpkin again
Pretty
until
much.
365 days from now. This is something I can drink for 3 months straight between October and December and not get sick of it. So, this is the pumpkin beer for the people who don't like pumpkin.
So is this a Broken Goblet beer, or is this one of your...
Paul Lahm.
This is a Paul Lahm beer that, if I have my way, next time this year will be on tap of Broken Goblet.
Nice. So damn it, it's not on Untapped.
So
That's what
I
you're
have-
telling me.
I approve this beer.
I have a comment and a question.
I have a concern. Not really.
Yes.
The comment is, if you ever open your own brewery,
Ooh, this is good.
it should be called Paul Lahm beer.
Yeah.
Like one word, Paul Lahm beer. Because you said those words
I was-
together.
I was kinda
and
thinking
it
that,
sounded
too.
like it should be a thing.
People will finally pronounce my name right.
Paul Lahm beer.
That's true.
Question is, so what is actually in this?
It's actually a relatively basic amber ale recipe. Nothing crazy going on with apple pie spice.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yes.
okay. It's got a nice earthy quality.
I don't know, and this is semi-rant, but when did clove become a part of pumpkin pie spice? Like, my grandparents make traditional apple pie. I've had apple pie. I love apple pie. There's never any clove in apple pie.
yeah. Well, it became
What's
a
clove
thing
in apple pie? Or pumpkin pie.
In pumpkin
I'm losing
pie.
my damn
because
mind. I am losing my damn mind.
I think it's because it's
6 beers
it's
deep.
distinct, it's strong, and it's easy. You put clove in something, and it's like, oh, it's fall. No matter what it is. I mean, if it's beer, if it's tampons, coffee, whatever.
What?
Interesting beer flavor there.
Welcome back to the table, by the way.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, Jay's back.
Things have gotten a little
Right,
derailed,
just had to go work.
as they tend to
No,
do.
he went to break it down to the music. Didn't you see him breaking it down on the dance
He
floor?
likes to
No,
dance.
I didn't.
It was pretty freaking hilarious.
I missed it.
So, does this beer have a name?
Yeah, Harvest Ale.
Is it just Harvest Ale?
On my keys are at home, I call it the Harvest Ale of Sorrow.
Oh, see? That was much better.
Oh, that's a good one.
Harvest Ale of Sorrow.
All,
that's a good
all
one.
of my beers are shitty puns on metal songs.
And what is the
Dude,
ABV?
Is that taken? That's like so like
It's gotta be taken.
That's so like good. It's got to be taken.
Somebody
if
has
not,
to
we
use
got
I'll
to.
let
Find
you
out.
know.
I googled it.
momentarily.
I didn't see anything, so I took it.
Steph's going to check
Steph,
the official
the
records.
untapped master.
Yeah. Ooh.
Next year.
High
Well,
five.
there's the elbow, yep.
Elbow.
That's the trick.
Do you know McDonald's in Japan is testing pumpkin spice French fries?
Well, okay, hold up. Sweet potato fries.
Which can be good.
With
But
the
this
pumpkin
is like
spice would be
normal
good.
normal
Like some maple
French
syrup.
fries, but drizzled with pumpkin spice sauce and chocolate sauce.
Interesting.
I don't understand why.
Pumpkin and chocolate does not
Well,
work.
No, it does.
No.
It does.
No.
It does.
No.
Yes.
No. No.
Have you had
Get
trick-
out, go home, you're drunk.
Have you had trick or treat?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, but that's not very pumpkin-y. That's more like it's almost like it's
I don't know, but pumpkin. I've had pumpkin pie with chocolate, like a chocolate crust and chocolate on top
Yeah.
of it, and it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I just don't understand why they have to do that to perfectly good French fries.
French fries are pretty resilient. They'll get over it.
So if anyone wants to learn more about Broken Goblet or attend one of their kick-ass events, don't forget brokengoblet.com, facebook.com/Broken Goblet, or at Broken Goblet PA on Twitter. Get all your social needs. Facebook, I guess, is probably the best.
Yeah, usually.
I tagged a picture for your Instagram earlier. Was that at Broken Goblet Beer? I'm going to look at this, and then I'll get back to you.
I love how proud Dan is of tagging
social
people in
media.
Instagram.
He uses Instagram once in a year.
every
I do
episode-
it 7,000 times a year. But
Every
he has to
episode we
mention
do,
it.
In that case, we're honored.
we get to the social media plugs, and Dan's like, "I tagged you on Instagram." I'm like, okay.
At Broken Goblet Brewing.
And on Instagram, they are at Broken Goblet Brewing.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome, world.
And on Snapchat, you see dirty pictures.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah, yeah.
No, no,
Dan
no.
does our Snapchat.
No,
I'm not touching that.
Yeah.
I am not touching that.
Failed quite triumphantly. Yes.
Paul, it was great to catch up with you. And we are super glad to see that your delicious beers are even more available for the masses now. And great job. And Jay, smart of you to nab him up. And congratulations on your continued success
Thank you.
here
Yeah.
at Broken Goblet. And
Thank
we
you very
look
much.
forward to see how you guys continue to grow. And I'm especially excited to see your reimagined idea for an even bigger and better beer/music space.
Yeah.
Because I
Thank
think
you.
you have a good thing going here, and I look forward to being able to put more drums in your space.
So do we. We're gonna have the biggest drum kit ever.
We'll get in touch with Fedge.
Yes, Fedge and the Rush drum set.
the gigantic drum set
Well,
that
no,
actually...
what you need to do is just
all the
have
drums.
stomp, just like a whole percussion show.
Oh, that's a great idea. Well, one of the things Righteous is, I don't know if you talked about that, is working on is doing like musical nights here. So where he's going to be on stage doing musicals with some of his friends. So maybe
That is
we
going to
can
be
figure
so
out something.
freaking entertaining.
That's
I can
awesome.
only imagine.
That is awesome.
Hamilton, maybe?
Oh, I forget either he loves that or hates it. I forget which one it is. You would have to ask him. It's either completely despises it or he loves it. I forget though.
That's
All right.
hilarious.
That sounds about
Wow.
right. Yeah.
So there's a lot of great stuff and a lot of things you should check out. All the websites Steph mentioned, and they will be linked from beerbusterspodcast.com, of course. But what I'm excited about is the membership. That's an awesome price. $102 for the $102 to $100 for the Sith Lord versus, is it Empire or Emperor?
Emperor.
Emperor. Okay. Because I think earlier
like
somebody
Palpatine.
that makes sense. That makes a lot of
Even
sense.
I got that. Come on.
Well, no, that's what confused me at first. But for the Emperor one, $200, but you get tickets to the events, plus all the bottles, plus all the half
price
price
beer.
Yeah, which that, I mean, there's a lot of value to it. So if you're able to do it, you should definitely do it. That's awesome. A lot of cool stuff in the works. And by the time anybody hears this, there will be plenty of Christmas decorations around, whether you like them or not.
I don't know. I have a
Yes.
feeling they may keep the Halloween decorations
Oh.
up just a little past Halloween. They're kind of groovy.
We may have been told earlier what's going to go down. Yeah.
It's going to be a war. It's really going to be a war.
There's a whole thing that's happening.
There's a whole thing.
This is what happens
yeah.
when I get stuck on the turnpike.
Steph was
Yeah, so Joe and Mike. Joe is Mr. Halloween, and he's not done yet. The decorations. Mike is Mr. Christmas, Father Christmas, maybe. So every year they kind of battle where they'll light each other's decorations on fire and stuff and video it and send it to each other. This year, Halloween is on Monday the 31st. Joe is out of town like that weekend and that Monday, so he won't be here till Tuesday or Wednesday. Sunday night, when we close, we are taking every piece of Halloween decoration down, putting all the Christmas stuff up. So when Joe comes in on Tuesday, it'll be all Christmas.
Oh my God.
He's going to freak out.
He is going to freak out.
That's going to be awesome.
I hope
Christmas
you
all
should
the
Facebook
time.
Live that.
Oh, we're going to, it's going to be phenomenal. I'm very excited about it.
Awesome.
That's hilarious.
Cool.
I love it.
Do you guys do that every year? Is it always a war every year where...
It has been a war. They've been doing this for years now, just back and forth.
Does it get worse every year?
This is going to be the worst, yeah.
Oh, man. That's awesome. Keep an eye on the social media for when fun stuff like that will happen.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of great stuff that you guys are doing. The beers were fantastic. I like that you have the bottle releases. I like the Teabags. Don't laugh. But there's a lot of cool stuff that's happened. A lot of great beers, and I'm excited for what the future has for you guys. We can't thank you guys enough for having us out here.
Yeah.
I like
Thank you
balls
for
in my
coming. It's
mouth.
awesome. All right. I think is that how it ends? All right, I'm out.
We're just done
Make
now.
it end, please.
Yeah. We have to, of course, thank Audible for sponsoring us yet again. audibletrial.com/beerbusters. You can sign up for your free 30-day trial of an Audible account. Download, listen to, and keep your own audiobook if you're choosing. There's over 250,000 titles you can choose from. Once you download it, it is in your cloud. You can't get rid of that shit. So it will always be there. audibletrial.com/beerbusters.
And while we're slashing Beer Busters,
PATREON.com/BEERBUSTERS.
Unfortunately, this brings us to the end of another episode of Beer Busters, and it's been an awesome ride. Lots of cool stuff. You guys are doing great things here. So if you can come out to Broken Goblet, make sure you do so. And if you're able to sign up for and join one of the clubs, you can either be a Sith Lord or an Emperor. Who doesn't want to be an Emperor?
I'd rather be a Sith. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, the Emperor ran the whole thing. He was in charge of the
Doesn't
Sith
matter.
Lords.
I want the lightsaber, the one that goes both ways. Darth
Darth
Maul.
There
That's
you go.
the lightsaber.
Yes. Well, I'm Dan Baker, joined as always by my co-host and brewerologist,
Sith Steph Heifer.
the demented and fermented
Emperor Wayne Baker.
Thanks again to the guys here at Broken Goblets. No squids were harmed in the making of this episode, and we'll see you next time.
Bisexual lightsaber.